We're with Maria Goretti, world famous on TV for multiple things which normally don't collide, which is VJing, comparing, as an author, as a chef, as a glamorous person.
I
And
don't know.
I don't know how she does it, but she does. But I think one tip already is that she wakes up early in the morning and is ready to take on the...
I normally wake up at 5:30. So
That's early, Maria.
and I'm normally like messaging. So by the time I wake up by 8, I'm like very busily messaging friends who are like, why are you messaging us? Or if
Do
there's
they ever
something
say go back to sleep, Maria?
Yeah, or if there's something really important, then I'll pick the phone and they're like, why are you calling us so early? But for me, I'm like 6:30, 7:30, it's 8, it's 2.5. Because, you know, when you live in Bombay and you have the beach at your disposal, I was somebody who loved running. I still do, but I've injured my knee, so I'm not supposed to.
So it's better in the morning anyway, right?
So yeah, so that would be like I would be on the beach at say 5:45, running. You know, so I used to love that run with the sun kind of thing. Then it kind of went down for a little bit when I had my kids. So when I had my kids, so I would wake up in the morning and I would.
Okay.
Yeah. I love running. It's something that brings me immense joy. And
but that's another sign of adulthood, no? And adulting is you can't just leave a little squirmy little baby and off you go.
No, you can't. You can't. Now the teens, of course, they are 19 and 16.
Oh, more power to you. They'll manage. It's you who needs all the
blessings. No, but yeah, so we're all kind of trying to find our space together under the sun. But
so has this also transitioned your work life? Because you speak very clearly of these stages, you know, from growing up, from work to motherhood to teen motherhood, and as very distinct phases. So has it reflected in your writing?
So I would say that I began writing in 2010. My daughter was about
writing. You're saying that's
writing.
Writing.
Yeah, actually sitting down and writing. And I actually started with writing about food. But I realized I never wrote just about food. I wrote about life.
It was stories around food.
It just kind of, and I realized there was so much in me that I wanted to talk about, or not talk about verbally, but I wanted to put down, you know. So I kind of...
that means writing for yourself to begin with.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And around then, the food stores or before that, just before that, around your big
I think writing and food happened to me at, I would say, nearly the same time.
Okay.
And I would write, I would cook, I would write about experiments in the kitchen, I would write about life. Yeah, lots of failures. And I think that's the thing. You know, I always look at all the failures that I've had, and the mature Maria.
Yeah.
Thanks myself for all of that. Because I think if you're just only successful, then you really don't understand what to do when you don't have a great day. And
because it will come, that not great day will
come. It has to come. I mean, how boring would it be to only be on a high? You know, valleys are beautiful too. You know, and valleys is where you actually hear the gurgling brooks. So I think it's all wonderful.
And especially when you deal with food and life together, it's not even a metaphor in your case. So the two unpredictable things are cooking. Anything can happen.
Anything.
Life itself.
And life. And life. And so I started writing, and I started writing some more and some more and some more. And somewhere in 2011, I started writing poetry. It just came out of, I don't know. I was sitting one day and it just came out of me, just flowed out of me. And I didn't understand from where it was coming.
You had published already? You had already published?
No, not at all. I was not published.
Not yet?
No. My first book got published in 2016. And my second book got published this year, the poetry book.
Yeah.
And I think from 2011, I used to be writing a whole lot of poetry, and I would just keep it in
And
my
this is
phone.
longhand. You're writing in
No,
a
no, I
diary.
would write it in my phone. I would do it. So
Your digital diary.
almost, yeah, it's almost like a, I know it sounds a little cuckoo, but it was almost like a download, you know,
Yeah, literally.
from the universe. And
While your
I would
colleagues are taking selfies, there you are writing words.
yeah, like I would be probably on a trek sitting on a mountain, and I would be just looking into the sky. And then I would just go to my phone and I would go cut, 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 cut.
That is cuckoo, no? When you should be taking a selfie, mountain and
I do
me.
that too. No, no, no. Let's not, give me so much of credit also. I do the selfie bit, but I do it, I think I do it less than what I otherwise do. You know,
Right.
I look at it like, I look at all this like work that needs to be done.
Okay.
And yeah, and
So
that's
it's
how
not your hobby. It's not your, your side gig.
no, not at all.
Do people ask you, but what do you do? I write poetry. No, really, but what do you do?
No, actually, people don't ask me because I think I'm always constantly doing something or the other, which is I don't know how it just happens. And I've never been much of a planner, and I've not been so much of part one I do this and part two I do this and then
Right.
I'm going to. So I've never done all that all my life,
Right.
and I've always gone with the flow, and thankfully some of it has worked.
But who made you want to publish? Because writing is one thing, it's brave in its own way, but it's more passion.
Yeah,
Publishing is a different ballgame and it
yeah,
takes a huge amount of courage, I feel. Especially
yes.
if you're putting out poetry, it's so easy to be judged on that because people are not judging you for, you know, language or grammar. They're like, what is this? Why should I read this? Right? These are your thoughts.
Of social media. After some time, I just wrote. And I think I wrote without expecting anything or wanting anything. You know,
Right.
it was just a natural extension of who I am today and what I do. So one of the things that I've never done to myself is put myself in a box. So it's not like, oh, Maria, the so and so, or
Huh.
it's me, it's Maria. And as a person, this is, in this one life of mine, if I can explore everything and all the talent that the one above has given me, I will do it. And some of it will be, accepted by people. Some of it won't be, but I mostly do it because I like it.
Right.
And I'm okay with
But there
somebody
has to
not.
be nervousness. There has to be some bit of self-doubt. You're not Saint Maria who you're named after. So there is
No, no.
some level of
So the thing is, Karuna, because I've been writing since
mm,
2010, and because I was putting it out,
mm,
there was a bit of understanding of how people are receiving it.
right.
You know?
So you did
So
get negative comments as well. You did get critique.
so I got critiqued about food, about the way this recipe is not supposed to be like that, and that is.
Oh, it's
But
not
I've never
authentic.
been,
That you
yeah.
get a lot.
Oh, why that's too much of butter, and no,
Yeah.
that's not the right recipe. Or so I mostly say, listen, guys, you do what you want. Let me do what I want, and let's all just be happy. I'm not here to change the course of history or any such thing. Food history is a certain way, but all of us cook differently. But I think with poems, what happened is. I just put them out, and I realized that a lot of us resonated with the same thought,
Mm.
and a lot of in fact, my feedback for poetry was very warm, very, very welcoming,
That's a
and
pleasant surprise.
very heartfelt. And so there was not even a second thought about um, when my publisher asked me. Deepa actually was with Om at that time, and she told me, she said, Maria, I've been reading your poetry now over the years because I've known her for quite some time. And she said, why don't
Mm.
you send me all you have? I had about 100 pieces that I had written.
Wow.
And yeah, so I put them all together and I sent it. And then Ipshita was my editor, and then she brought it down to 70, then we brought it down to 50, then we brought it down to 40. And then, of course, it was sent back to me, back and forth. I edited it a lot. And then lockdown happened. And then I had the whole file. And then I read it. And I remember till this year, not this year, sorry, now it's 2024. Till last year. Yeah. Last year, I think somewhere around in Jan, Ajay Mago of Om Books told me, he said, you have to stop editing. I said, then don't send it back to me, because every time you send me my file, I read it and I'm like, oh my God, this is so
happy with something or the other.
Yeah, I need to redo this. And I would then redo it. So he said, okay, stop it, Maria, just stop it.
That's the chef in you. You keep tasting as you...
Yeah, I think this needs this. Okay, I can add this. Maybe I should add some vegetables,
Yeah.
So he said, you have to stop. Send me a letter saying go to print. He said, just do that. Send me that email. So I said, okay. And then I think I just said, okay, this is going to drive me mad. If I read it once more, I'm going to hate it even more. I started hating each piece. I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Who wrote this? Me.
What crap is this? But then after a point, I think I had changed 50% of the book.
Wow.
And I just changed 50% of the book. And then I think somewhere in Jan, I said, okay, I sent that email saying, please go to print.
And you're done.
Yeah. And even if I beg of you, call and cry and say,
don't listen to me.
I said, don't listen to me. Don't listen. And I think finally in March, I had my first book in my hand.
Your first poetry book.
The first poetry book, yeah.
Were you this critical of your food books?
No, because I was not.
You never serve it.
Also because food took me so long because I did it on my own. So once I finished the book, I then got to know about food books, and I realized everybody has a
team. Yeah.
And I was like, what? I never knew that people work in teams. I didn't even know all this. I'm that much of an author,
Yeah.
And I remember calling up Om Books and saying, guys, like nobody tells me that you have a team. And I would read other people's books, and then I had people who would tell me that I wrote for that particular chef, and I did the tastings for them, and I did these recipes. And I was like, am I the only one who's this one-person team? What the hell is happening?
That's where the cuckoo comes in again. But it works for you.
Yeah. So then, of course, it took me 2.5 years to do my food book, Karuna, because I did it on your own. Yeah, I did it on my own. So as in from how it should
But what's the secret? No one in the family chipped into at least with the tasting, with the critiques?
Yeah, of course. But you see, I'm a very practical person. Okay, so when something is good, I'll know, and when something is not, I'll know. I know when I have to improve, and I know when I have to just leave it be. So So the thing is, and the hard work was done by me.
Yeah,
it has to be me. I can't. So I'm not somebody who wants to leave things to somebody else.
So you can't source the actual work out.
I won't sleep well. So the thing is, okay, so this is my recipe, and let me see how I can make it easier for anybody else, and let me see how I can improve it in whatever way I can. So each recipe that I put, I must have cooked it about 4 times before I actually did my final shoot. And it was shot by a very, very, very close friend of mine, Amit Ashar, who is a portrait photographer.
Wow.
I didn't do any food styling because I didn't even understand food styling. So I never knew that you put glycerine on food for shine, or
spray oil everywhere.
Yeah, so I didn't know these things. So
your food was as it was. It's edible.
Food was from the pan onto the plate, shot
and eaten.
And then at the end of the day, we used to all and my stylist who worked with me at MTV. Like I realized that I was getting so tired because I had to lay the table, I had to put things there. So then I called her in. I told her, I said, listen, I really need your help. I need you. I said, I'm going to cook. I'm going to cook.
Plate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll plate. But the rest around it, I said, please help me. So she would
Wow,
come
there was a fashion stylist helping you prettify food. Wow,
to
that's
pretty the table. So she went in and she bought all these various tablecloths. You know, she just bought various fabrics and she put them
so
together.
she used
Then,
the inherent talent that she had, and wow, that's
yes,
an amazing
yes.
collaboration. So
And
cool.
she collected all the cute things that I have around my house because I am a collector of lots of little things. So
You're a
she picked
traveler.
them all. Yeah, I'm a traveler. And then every time I would say, okay, guys, I would first call Amit and say, Amit, do you have this day off? And he would say, okay, Maria, let me check. And he would say, yes, I have this day off. And okay, I'm cooking. We're doing 5 recipes. And then I would just prep for them 2 days before, and on the day of shoot, I would just cook, and he would set up various spaces, and we would shoot it. We shot it on my, at that time I used to live on a terrace flat. So we had trees on my terrace. So we would
Oh,
always
nice.
shoot under dapple light. And when the sun was too harsh, we had to just sit it out
And
and
wait.
wait. And then as soon as he felt that the light is going, which would be around 5 o'clock. So we would not be able to shoot more than 5 things in a day, 4 or 5 in a day. And then at the end of the day, we would all just sit absolutely famished, eat everything up because it was all
Every day you
good
would just
food.
shot.
Yeah, and drink beer. So that's how I did my book.
Wow. And so different from your shows. I mean, either you have many hands or many heads. This is just too much diversity of medium. While the
Yes.
passion is still food and the passion is still words, it's a lot of diversity of medium. So how do you manage A, the stress, B, the discipline?
Karuna, I'm not disciplined at all.
Oh,
I'm not.
thanks. Two of us.
Not disciplined. So I remember when I was doing the food book. Firstly, I didn't even know where to start. So first I remember thinking, oh, let's do it with seasons, seasonal vegetables and what we should eat. And I realized by the time I was putting that together, the season had
Would
passed.
change, yeah.
So I'm like, okay, now. So so I said, okay, this is like a really bad idea. And then finally I came down to the crux of the matter. The fact of the matter is that I started learning to cook when my kids needed to be fed, basically. And
Simple
I
as
got interested in it. I passionately fell in love with it, and I went off to school and I continued learning. And I realized that for me, food is celebration. For me, food is all about the people that I love, what I want to, how I express love.
Hmm.
So I said, okay, fine, that's how I'm going to do this. So what I did was I divided the book from Jan to December, and I picked
Okay.
up one emotion. So
Right.
some of them were dedicated to people in my family. Some were dedicated to group of friends. Like I have girlfriends. I have different sets of
Right.
friends. Then probably I'm East Indian. So
Right.
East Indians come from Bombay, as you know, and
Right.
while Bombay. So I had one menu to do with that, one menu to do
And
with
all foodies, there's a common thread.
yeah, yeah.
Most of them are foodies.
And I just divided it like that.
Yeah.
And voila, I had my whole menu. And then it
Right.
was very easy. And I was very clear that I wanted a soup starter, veg, non-veg, and then your dessert. So then it became very easy for me to put. It's like, okay, so
It's like once you get your basics right,
yeah,
everything like
everything
cooking a
fell in
game,
place. Yeah,
everything falls
everything fell
into
in
place.
place.
Then how
Yeah.
did the TV shows happen? What was the
So the TV
intention
shows
behind
happen according to the channels you work for.
it?
They
Right.
they 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 have their people who do their research and tells them what they should be putting out and what people are
Right.
consuming, and that's what they do. So
Right.
mostly in that I am. I would not say I'm a bystander, but I would say
You
that
play a character. You play a character there rather than
I actually get in. I tell them the kind of food I would like to cook. We try and
okay.
marry it with what they feel people are watching. And that's how you put it out. So I've been very lucky where all that is concerned because
Because food shows were the
I,
original reality shows, no? It
yeah,
was as it was,
it
non-scripted in
was
that.
as it was. Yeah. So I think I did about 3 television shows with V, and then there was another show of mine running on Hotstar called Cafe Maria, which I did with
Where people thought
food.
there's literally Cafe Maria happening soon. Your
There is
fans were.
no.
Where
I
is
don't
it?
think
What is
so,
the address?
Karuna. No, I think I live I like my freedom a lot, and
Yeah.
I think as much as I romantically wanted a cafe, I think I would have
But
to
there's a
give it
ring
at
to
least.
it. No, I've seen so many Casa Marias. So a Cafe Maria would be fantastic.
Yeah. So I think maybe when I'm ready to hang my boots is when I
Wow.
will step
You will
into
take
that.
on more work. When you're ready to hang your boots is when you'll take on a new work and a new project and a whole
No,
different.
as in that way, I won't be roaming around the way I do. You know, I like that freedom, and
Wow.
I have a lot of chef friends who run restaurants, and there's
It's
nothing
a lot of
romantic
work,
about.
no?
There's
Back of the,
nothing romantic about the restaurant business.
that's
There's
what they tell
nothing
me.
romantic about food. It is hard. It's a hardcore business. It's money. It's numbers. And
People,
it's
your employees and your
yeah,
team.
and it's trying to keep your chefs together. And I think today I don't have the bandwidth. I'm a mother of teens, and I use that as my escape.
So
Yeah,
whenever your fan club and friends ask, that's your excuse for 2 more years.
that's my excuse for maybe 5 more years. But
Oh,
in the
you'll
meantime,
officially
I
keep
do.
them teens for a while.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I think I do a lot of workshops where people hire me to kind of
Live.
come and teach.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I really enjoy that. So I do
Okay.
that. Then I do a lot of, I would say, go and meet students, talk about poetry, talk about the fact that you don't need to be put in a box. You know, you can explore so many venues in life. You know, nothing lasts forever, and don't take yourself too seriously. And I
Right.
feel,
That's so important. That's so
yeah,
important.
I feel, you know,
Imagine
today
a
I'm
poet is saying that. Don't take yourself so seriously.
no, I don't think so. Like at the moment, I'm in Goa because I'm finishing uh, my home here in Goa,
Right.
and I have done the entire house. So I love interior design, and I've had no formal training, but I totally
But
and totally
it's
love
your
it.
home. You know what you want. So,
Yeah, I think I've done about 4 of my homes, but
wow.
I think yeah,
Again,
all the
alone, or tell me you had a
alone.
team here at least.
So I had my careers and my carpenters, and
Wow. Okay.
yeah, so we've all kind of worked together for so long that they understand what I want. And
Right.
so I've just finished. I'm not nearly finished. I've got maybe a month of finishing tiny bits, you know, bits and
Those
bobs
take
left.
the longest, no? Like a book. You're
Those
editing
take
your home.
yeah, it's like the last edit that goes
Yeah.
on.
You're still editing your interiors.
Yeah. So I'm
Is there
constantly
a book
finding.
coming out of that as well?
You know, I did not put this on paper. I did not document it.
Sending
I
those
wish
vibes.
I wish I wish I had, because I would be able to do a book on how to restore an old Goan Portuguese
Oh,
villa.
fantastic. On your
Yeah,
own, as a regular
on my own.
person, not as a
As a
architect.
regular person. Yeah, as a regular person. You know, I
Wow,
think
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
I think what you just need is a really practical
I think
mind.
your publishers are going to see this interview and you'll be hearing from them.
I don't know. But I've had a lot of fun, and I love interiors. Like I passionately love it. Like if you leave me in a room with cement and stone and rubble and tell me, listen, we want to do something with this,
That's
my
art as well,
mind,
right? Yeah, it's
yeah, my
like
mind
poetry
just
is art of a different kind. It's
yeah, it
tangible.
goes crazy. It's like, yeah, I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do.
Are you
So
happy with your final edit of your house?
yes, I
You
am.
are.
Yeah,
Okay.
I am.
That's saying a lot, no, for you?
Yes, I actually am, because so when I was doing this, the workers, because I worked with all of them, like people who would walk in and say, "So what are you doing here?" So I would explain to them. They were like, "Do you have a CAD drawing?" And I was like, "No, I don't know how to do a CAD drawing,
On the
but I
computer.
know, yeah, but I know what this room is going to look like." And I know.
Would you draw by hand? Would you visualize and
Yeah.
show
I would.
them?
I mean, it's amazing. But my band of workers completely get me when I send them funny drawings
Doodle.
on a photograph, or if I stand there and tell them ye vaisa, ye, they get it because I think they worked with me for so long. So like it's
That
like
is
from
your book draft right there.
yeah, I guess so. So from designing beds to designing my floor to designing what the curtain will look like to designing the wood finish on the
And it's
I mean how
restoration. It's an old house that you
it's an old
built.
house, but we've had to kind of make everything
Do
new.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, but the inside of it does not look like a French mansion. It
Right.
still looks like a quaint home.
Right.
Yeah.
But that is something that's reflective of you, right? If you take words and put them together. And I noticed on your social media, you're writing captions in a meter as well. So where do you,
Really?
yeah, or it shows up as, smaller sentences and there's, so is that looks, now it seems like it's a subconscious thing that you're doing. Because poetry need not rhyme all the time. Some
No,
of
no,
it
no.
looks
No.
poetic.
Yeah. So in fact, I just I posted a piece yesterday that I wrote. So for me, poetry is I don't know. I think it's to me, poetry is like breath. It's like, a space where I go to sometimes. And
But you don't identify yourself as a poet.
no, I can't. I don't identify myself as anything. So I've never been able to. So when people ask me, like I'm constantly thinking in my head, now what do I say? How do I introduce myself? So I normally say, hi, I'm Maria. And yeah, I do a few things.
Mother of teens.
That mother of teens. I'm like, that's my intro.
Those are your dragons in house.
Yeah, my dragons in house, fire breathing dragons.
Poor things. No, she loves you. She thinks teens are the best.
Yeah. So I kind of, in fact, sometimes when I'm talking about them, they look at me and say, we're still here. I'm like, yeah.
Your parents must be giggling away at, this is called payback.
So at the moment I'm here alone. No, my parents always tell me, they said, you were a very good teen.
Oops.
So I'm thinking, wow.
And then
or maybe they don't remember. Or maybe they don't remember.
Maybe amnesia happens at some point. True story. That could have happened.
I think they don't remember. Like I still remember that my mom used to say, my mom and dad used to give me a cutoff time for a party. And if I was late, I would call my grandma.
Oh.
And yeah, and I would knock on her side of the home.
House.
I would say, open your door. And if she asked me what's the time, I would say 11:45, no matter what time I got back.
Because otherwise you'll meet your parents on the breakfast table.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise my parents would be like really pissed off with me. And then the next party I would not get to go for. So, but I was not a very big party animal, though, because of MTV, I have that appearance, you know, that this one must be our all night party. I'm in my house asleep by 11 o'clock. I'm like fast asleep. Like, please.
Yeah, that explains why you wake up at
5:30.
5 a.m. No, but what is your next project? Please, you have to tell us.
Karuna, I swear I don't know. Like, really? I have zero idea. Zero. I think
I don't want to believe you. You come across as honest. I do want to believe you.
I swear I don't. If I was actually working on something, I would have told you that I'm working on this.
Is there a secret film that you're finally going to?
No, I tell you, films are not my calling.
But you've had people wanting you to do films.
So while I was growing up, I had quite a number of offers. But I was extremely happy with my job at MTV, and I would say there were two. I had about maybe 4 movie offers, out of which I just couldn't. Like, I just thought, how do I do justice to this? Know, because I'm also the kind of person who, if I'm doing something, then I want to really give it my all, and I want to I want to be really good. I want to deliver.
Right.
You know, I want to deliver my best. So I somehow never got down that path. I think also because I grew up not speaking fluent Hindi. And
Right.
I thought in my head that was a deterrent. And I think I did one film called Raghu Romeo with,
Yes.
yeah, I did Raghu Romeo. And I remember when I was doing Raghu Romeo, I kept thinking, I said,
But everyone kept thinking it's still the MTV Maria, it wasn't the actor Maria.
yeah, but I'm not an actor.
Yeah.
Karuna, I'm not an actor. So I've dabbled in a little bit. I'm like, okay, this is a fun thing to do. Like I did a cameo in Masaba.
Right.
You know, it was a fun role. It was this mother of the bride who's always drunk. I said, oh my God, this is so much fun. Please, yes.
Yeah.
What I do. You know, if I was this crying mother all the time, I'd be thinking, oh, this is really boring. I don't want to waste my time. But she was this always drinking and always drunk. And I was like, yeah, let's do this. Then I did a cameo in Meet the Malhotras, where I played a chef. So yeah, there are certain things that I immediately kind of jump in and say yes to. And
you're happy with that.
Yeah, but I don't have like a fixed plan. Sometimes when I see awesome films, then I feel, oh damn, I wish I was an actor so that I could have done this. But that's just something that passes through my head once in a while, and nobody's waiting there saying, "Oh my God, let's call Maria for that."
So that's so honest of you. No, that's amazing. That's amazing. But any regrets? I have to ask. Anything you would have done differently? Not really regrets, but anything you would have done way differently than what panned out?
No. Nothing.
That's amazing.
Nothing. Yeah, I think I'm and I really mean this. Karuna, I think I'm a blessed soul.
That's amazing.
I really feel that. I really feel like I have a hand of God over me. And I feel that I'm very well looked after. So even if I'm going through a crisis in life, there is a very good reason for that crisis that I may not understand at that point of time. But in retrospect, I feel, oh my God, if that didn't happen, I would not be here.
So find gratitude in even your...
Yeah, I think I'm truly blessed. I really feel that.
And that's amazing. So even failure has been a blessing, and you find gratitude.
No, it is. In fact, failure has been a lot of different types of failures in life have been some of the biggest blessings, because I've always kind of crawled out of it, dragged myself out of it, sometimes 6 feet under, been crawling in darkness. But I always believe that there is something waiting around the corner that's bright and shiny and is meant for me.
So Maria, in fact, a lot of your readers and in fact your MTV fans as well have seen the JLF schedule and that you're going to be there. But what would you be, there's of course your new book, but what are you planning to chit-chat about? And are you available to meet people?
Yes, absolutely. I'm most excited about being part of Jaipur Lit Fest this year. And it is something that, growing up all around, I've just read about. So
Oh, it's your debut? It's the first time you're going?
Yes, it's my first time.
So cool.
So I'm most excited, delighted, and stoked to be included. So let me say that at the onset. I'm going with both my books. From My Kitchen to Yours is a session that I'm doing with Amrita Tripathi along with Karen Anand and along with Zakoye. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And cooks themselves.
Yes. So I'm really looking forward to that session. Then I have another poetry session with Amita. I don't know what is happening in that session, but I guess we'll be talking about poetry. There will be a little bit of reading, that. Then I'm hosting a session, in fact, with, on modern love. where I have three amazing
On Modern Love.
On Modern Love. So I will be, I'll be interviewing Seema Goswami, Shivani Sibal, and I've forgotten the third name.
And yourself?
No, not me. I'm just interviewing them. I will be just taking them through it. So yes, and I'm looking forward to sitting and attending a whole lot of sessions. I'm looking forward to meeting authors whose books I've read. One of the things that I love about literature festivals, of course, is the fact that you have all these books at home, and I was actually thinking some of them I should carry, but I'm thinking of the weight. And then you always end up going for a session, and then you end up buying 2-3 books more.
Exactly, and there's also the same tent.
Yeah,
which is very tempting.
Every time I come back from a lit fest, I look at my. I'm most excited about it while I'm there because I'm collecting books and I'm speaking to different authors that I really like, and I take signatures, and I'm so excited about all of them. Then I go back to my room to pack, and I'm like, what have I done? How am I going to take this back? Yeah. So now I figured another way. It's like you send it by post.
Oh, good one. Send yourself a package.
Send it by local post. It reaches you in 5 days, and you can take all your books home. So I figured that. So
that's a pro tip to do how to manage a lit fest from a debutante, from a lit fest debut.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm like so excited. I can't even tell you.
You're carrying lots of pens. I hope.
I want to carry a few books there, because I don't want to go there and say, oh my God, this author, I have this book at home, I want that.
You still will. All your planning, I know you still will. But the shipping back is a good tip.
Yeah. But
great. On that pro tip, all the best for the JLF as well.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure most of your fans are waiting to meet you in person.
I'm waiting to meet people. I'm waiting to talk about food, about life, about poetry. I mean, if I have a group of people who are willing to sit with me under a tree and talk, I will.
Well, it'll be great to read your social media posts from there. So we follow you, and we look forward to all the insights and all the fun that you're having there as well.
Thank you, Karuna. Thank you so much.
All the best. Bye.